I wanted to make a video on my accepted portfolio for London College of Fashion because I feel like it would have, seeing other people's work would have like really helped me know what I was doing for my portfolio, because I honestly had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I just want to say, first of all, I got into London College of Fashion to study fashion design, technology, women's wear. And I got in on an unconditional offer. So the first one I had was a project that I had done in my foundation course, and the word that we were actually given, so I didn't get to choose what the project was about, but was the word Phantasmagorical, which was one of my tutor's choices of words, which to me at the beginning I was like, what the hell, I've never heard of that before, but it's basically like surrealism. So I looked into things like Holy Mountain, or like various artists such as like Louise Bourgeois, and then it like progressed, and then I know I wanted to study fashion design, so I was looking at fashion designers like Gareth Pugh, but anyway, so this was like my inspiration board and like progression of that. And then I went into making a dress that was like, even though Molly Goddard is not a like surrealist fashion designer like in the slightest, but her silhouettes and everything are quite over the top and extreme. And also I really like the tulle idea, and the tulle came from Molly Goddard, but also I was looking into, I forget the name of it now, but the sad clown that has like the spots and all the tulle around the neck, or the oversized collar, that was like something that I was looking into. Anyway, so that was where I got my inspiration from, and then this was the final outcome of that section of it. And then I made another final garment for this project that I had basically I was keeping the idea of like the repetition and the spots that I'd screen printed onto the dress. I wanted to keep that idea of repetition and like weird shapes in the second garment that I made, and it was basically like a poncho. So that was another piece that I did, and I was weirdly happy with the outcome of that, even though it's like super wacky and probably not what I would be into now. Like the colours are gross and like really sickly and extreme, but that was what I was into at the time. I think I was feeling quite manic, but that's okay. So that was that project, and I'll just flick through again the different stages so you can see the progression. There's probably more to say on that, those projects, but I don't have anything in front of me to like any like cues of what to say about all of this. But I guess whoever's watching this, if anyone watches this, you're basically just looking at the pages and the layouts, which is probably the most helpful thing. You probably don't even care about what each thing is about. So that was that. Something else that I did, it wasn't actually fashion related, but it was again about ideas, and I actually made this one out of wood, and I sanded it down with like any of the resources that I had at college. And this was basically based off or like inspired by Barbara Hepworth, but each shape that I had made in this mini sculpture represented a personality trait. Again, I think I was having maybe a minor identity crisis, because I was like, okay, I feel like I have all of these personalities. So the softer shapes were things like more my softer side or sensitive side, and then there was like the sharper shapes, which were more the side of me which is maybe a little bit more energetic or feisty. I don't know, maybe it's my Scorpio coming out of me. So that was that. I was really happy with that outcome as well. So that's why I put that in my portfolio, and it did say the portfolio requirements said it doesn't have to all be fashion related. Another thing that I did was this painting. Again, the story behind the painting is irrelevant and quite personal, so I'm not going to express this story, but it's, I think, I really liked this painting, and I think that the reason why I put it in was because of the colours and like the patterns, and yeah, mostly the colour combinations I think were quite aesthetically pleasing, and I felt very happy when I was like looking at this painting. So I thought maybe the people that were going to let me in the university would feel the same. So that's why I put this piece in. Another piece that I put in was, again, not anything to do with fashion, but it was a sculptural piece that I did at my foundation course, and it was based on my coffee's gone cold. It was basically based on the interaction of our surroundings in the world, and how much the human race relies on man-made resources. Like, we would not function without buildings and concrete and mass-produced things, but it was also touching on the fact that it's damaging our climate, like water pollution, sound pollution, lots of different things. So I basically wove those two together. I feel like this is probably actually quite a common thing to look into in like an art project, is like the juxtaposition of concrete man-made things with nature. So that was my sculpture. It was so heavy, obviously, because it was made out of concrete. I made the molds myself, poured the concrete with the help of some builders that I found in Jersey, because I would not have been able to do that by myself. I don't have a concrete mixer. And then I made lots of small square concrete blocks as well, and then I sort of like broke them a little bit, and I experimented with different consistencies of concrete, and like put some more pebbles in one, or less concrete in the other ones, and more sand, so that there would be different textures in each of the blocks. And then I got loads of like real moss and then artificial moss and flowers, and I stuck them with glue or like just wedged them into the gaps of or cracks of the concrete. And I actually put like a mini, like one of the blocks was hollow, so I could fill with mud, and then I actually planted like a tiny little plant in the mud, so that on the day of the exhibition, on the exhibition opening, it was like there was a real plant inside inside the plant pot that I had like structured myself. So that was good. The plant died. I couldn't water it because it had no bottom, so the water would have just seeped through. But I also, on the side of the concrete blocks, on the side of the sculpture, which you'll probably be able to see, I got like loads of fabric, and I dunked it into like concrete and PVA glue, and then I molded it around the side of the sculpture, around the side of the concrete block, and then so that when it would dry, it would be like a solid form. So it was like all one sculpture basically. But anyway, that was probably enough about that piece. I was really happy with the result. I'd never worked with concrete before, so that was like a bit of a challenge, but that was another thing that I put into the portfolio. What else did I put in it? I'm just thinking off the top of my head now. I did write them all down, but what else did I put in? Oh yeah, actually, based on the same project, same story, I did a number of experiments using that sort of technique of fabrics, dunking it in clay or concrete or something, and I made a garment and used this technique to like make lots of holes that sort of looked like vines in it. I'll be here so you can see, and so I thought that kind of looked very like leafy. Probably not, but I did that, and so that was another one that I had done. There's a number of things which I really look back on now and I'm like, why did I put this in there? And I don't even want to talk about them, but I will put them up so you can see. And that I like the layout of some of them, but some of the things I've included in the actual pages I think are just absolutely horrific, and I don't like them at all. But yes, this is them. I'll just wait a second. So that's probably enough of that. What else do I want to say about the portfolio? I don't know exactly what I want to say about my own personal portfolio, but maybe as like a tip or something if people need help with their portfolios for starting university, whether that be 2022 or 2023, or like your specifically for UAL, because I can't speak for any other university, is I think based on the ones that didn't get accepted, is have those ones were actually slightly different, and I do feel like this one that I've just been talking about was stronger than the other ones because they weren't all exactly the same, but have like, I think the layout of like from first page to last page is quite important, and have something really strong at the beginning, maybe something not so strong like in the middle, or like before the middle and after the middle, have something strong in the middle, and then end with maybe your best piece. I think that's like a psychological thing, that you remember the last thing and the beginning thing and the last thing the most out of when you're looking through something, or like when you're reading a book, you remember the beginning, middle and end the most, I feel. I don't know if that's true. I'm not doing psychology, as you can probably tell. I just got so distracted by a tiny little puppy. What else do I want to say about the portfolio? Keep it authentic to you. I think the best thing that you can do, in my eyes, would be don't try too hard, don't do what anyone else is doing, just show your own personal style and have that like flow all the way through, because I think if you've got an aesthetic that the tutors or the people letting you into the university can see, I think that shows a real sense of like, I can design, I know my aesthetics, I know my personality. Even though those things do change a lot, I think having that consistency in the portfolio specifically will be really helpful. Yeah, I am so grateful that they let me in. I've learned so much in just the first term, and I'm only in the first term. I'm going to hopefully in the space of 3 years learn so much. Done loads of things in London. London is just like the best place, I feel like, to study fashion as a British person, or an international as well. So yeah, I hope this was informative for anyone that actually watches it. I'm probably going to watch this back and be like, delete, but anyway, yeah, thank you.